Watcher here, and welcome back to yet another Halloween 2022 video. And in this Halloween 2022 video, we are looking at, yet again, more Lowe's Halloween stuff. If you remember my first video, it was basically just talking about the Lowe's Halloween lineup name list leaked, and then some stock photos were also leaked. Then my part 2 video was a little section of the store setup kind of leaked along with a few other minor pictures. But now we yet again have way more pictures of the store setup of Lowe's for the Halloween season this year. I was gone the last few days on a trip, so I wasn't able to go ahead and sit down and talk about these clips and pictures as they came out. However, since I came back, I can just make one big video now just talking about everything, as that is what I'm going to be doing now. So before I start the video, I do want to give credit to the Halloween Daily News. They're the ones that are putting this information out, and you should really go check them out. These are their pictures, so please, if you're going to be using any of these pictures, don't credit me, credit the Halloween Daily News for putting out these great pictures. So thank you to them. But regardless, let's go ahead and start looking at the first section that was first talked about while I was gone. This is the first one I missed out on. I won't really talk about this one in full depth just because this is not really like a huge part of the lineup, but this is about the prototype Jason that's actually here at this test store. Now, I didn't really get to talk about it in my first video, but here we're talking about it now. This is what the prototype Jason looks like unmasked, because the prototype version had the option to remove the mask, and the new one, quote-unquote, doesn't. You'll kind of see what I mean by that in a little bit, but here is the Jason prototype, and honestly, I don't think that face looks good at all. I think it looks very cartoony, and just the paint job looks very sloppy to me. To me, this face just doesn't really look like Jason. If somebody were to show me this firsthand without the mask on, I probably wouldn't even recognize it as Jason because that face is so weird. It's a sad attempt at the older models that Gemmy made back in the days, but not only that, but just a sadder attempt at the movie Jason. It's just very unfortunate. This is how it turned out. And now the release one we're gonna get doesn't have the feature to remove the mask. However, you basically can. Basically, what they did is that since they didn't make the mask removable, they just put a staple on the face so you can't see it directly and you can't really take it off manually. What you have to do is you have to pull the staple out of the mask, and here we go. We can see the new Jason once you pull the staple out of the face and the mask. And honestly, it looks better than the prototype, but still, it doesn't look that great. It just kind of lacks the Jason vibe to me. It just doesn't really look much like him. But then his hair is also sculpted on it. Just looks really weird. Honestly, just not a huge fan of this face. It's kind of cool to see Gemmy try to bring it back, but it did it so poorly. I just don't like it. This face is at least a little better than the prototype, but still nothing too great to walk home and talk about. It's just not that good, honestly. This Jason I used to think was okay or decent, but now has just fallen way down and I don't care about it anymore. So kind of unfortunate. Even the newer Jason kind of falls down. I kind of thought this was a step in the right direction, a better looking Jason than the other horror characters that Gemmy has tried to reattempt at. But yeah, this is honestly just kind of sad to see how it turned out. Now here we have is some more of the shelving that was kind of seen in my first video about the Lowe's store setup. These shelves are to the right of the horror character and the gravedigger section that was in my first video. But now here is finally the rest of that aisle. On the left side, we're going to start there first, we have those pumpkins I was talking about in my first video, and honestly that's pretty nice to see those. Like them. Kind of want them, and not really sure on the price. I kind of forgot the price, but they're pretty nice looking. And then we have some more lights and skeletons, some tombstones, some pretty nice stuff. Even some pumpkins that look pretty nice. Gargoyle. But the last two shelves, the second and third to last shelf, are the ones I want to talk about here. We can see they have the Gemmy violin thing that was from a few years ago. I kind of want that thing, so maybe I'll get it. I'm not really sure. Then they have, like, I think that's a cage skeleton next to it. I can't really tell. It might be like a magic power pop-out thing, but I think that's the cage skeleton. I can't really tell. Then we have some other skeleton next to it. Then some more, like light stuff next to that. Then the second last shelf, we have fog machines. Again, pumpkins. But the very interesting part is that it looks like we have the Medusa bust and a coffin dancer. If you guys don't know what these are, they're basically magic power items, and magic power went out of business. I guess Gemmy is kind of taking over magic power too now since they're gone. It's a whole weird conjoined company thing, but it's cool to see that because even though magic power is gone, at least we're getting some of their creations still out there in Gemmy form, I guess. I'm really curious to see how different it is. It might have the same audio, might not. I'm not really sure, but it looks kind of different here, but that might just be the fact it's the prototype and it's the lighting and such, so we'll have to see in better view. But then the middle shelf is kind of weird to to me because in the next clip, it's like with the inflatables. So I'm not really sure how they're like doing this step in stores with the inflatables, because there's like inflatables set up too, but those aren't like the big picture. You guys will see that in a second. But here we have mostly the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff and licensed stuff on the main big shelf. We have a Jack lamp. Then we have that Jack Tombstone prop that kind of pops out or peeks over. I'm not really sure the animation. We got some, it looks like some like silhouettes and cutouts of the characters. Got some pumpkins, some lights, and an Oogie Boogie kind of light up thing. The shelves under that, we have some inflatables, and we have some animated stuff. We have the animated Jack tabletop, and then the blow molds, and the singing Jack pumpkin, which I want to get. Then I think there's some other Nightmare Before Christmas tabletops next to that. I think there's some like globes. I believe they're like some of like the globe things we've seen the past few years. And then there's some lights also up there. Then the last shelf, we just have some more greeters and a tree, just more of that stuff. But then we have the box for the Jack Tombstone Peeper, which looks pretty decently sized. I don't know how big that is, but it doesn't look too huge. So there's that aisle. Then the next aisle on the right, we got, it looks like there's two skeletons playing a harmonica. I can't really tell what they're doing. It kind of looks like the Magic Power ones that were playing the harmonicas or the banjos, so it might be that. So I can't really tell. We got the blow mold ghosting with the pumpkins. We got some spider web light in the background. We got some more pumpkin light stuff. The cat that has a Happy Halloween sign. I think that's a broom right here with some signs on it. Then we got a pumpkin with a witch hat. Then some light pumpkins on the sides. Pretty nice. Then it looks like we have some more inflatables and lights. You can't really tell because there's a watermark over that. You'll kind of see some of those characters set up in inflatable form in the next clip. And then the bottom shelf, we have some boxes, some more of that cat Happy Halloween sign, the pumpkin with the witch hat, and the ghost blow mold with the pumpkin. So overall, pretty nice. It does kind of look like there's also another section next to it. I can't really tell. That might just be random stuff, but it kind of looks like Halloween. That might just be a smaller shelf. I can't really tell, but yep, this is all we have so far of this aisle, and it looks pretty nice. I mean, I like this little section. I'm not really sure how stores are going to set it up because, again, this middle section is also in a different place, but we'll talk about that next. And now we finally have come to the point where we can see the inflatables. This is the weird section I was talking about. It's almost like they moved this section and put it next to the inflatables. I'm not really sure how this works. I'm kind of confused on it, but this is the entire kind of layout. On the right side, before we start with the inflatables, you can see some more of those animated stuff, again, like the blow molds, the Jack pumpkins. I really want that singing Jack pumpkin. And then a better look at the Jack Peeper box right there. And yeah, there's some more little stuff right there. But the inflatables are kind of here too. These are all the Nightmare Before Christmas inflatables, and they all look pretty nice. I feel like it's kind of overkill. We see so much inflatables. I just noticed there's a prop in the background. Can't really tell what that is. That's even a prop. But there is also just the basic inflatables like a Jack, a Sally. I do like Dr. Finkelstein and the clown right here. Those are pretty cool to get finally in inflatable form. So pretty nice. Kind of overkill. We get so many inflatables of like Jack and Sally, but that is really it for this section. Here's a better look at the Haunted Mansion Leota Tombstone, and honestly, this one looks a lot better in person. The colors look a lot better. It's still a little weak with the colors, but honestly, it looks a lot better here. Though it is $110, I can see myself still buying this. And if this counts as an animatronic for this year, this is probably my favorite animatronic of the year for Lowe's, and I think I might just have to buy it. We'll see though, but honestly, I think I am possibly going to add this to my wish list. The last but certainly not least part of this video, we have the overview of the entire section at Lowe's. And as you can see here, I'm still kind of confused on one of the inflatables. I'm not really sure if that was just a test to see how they turned out, but it was kind of weird, I guess. I don't know the context that well, but here is what all the stuff looks like set up as an overview. And honestly, this setup is basically just a ripoff of Home Depot. You've noticed they've done a similar gate thing like the Home Depot stuff does, where they put a props around like a certain theme or category, and then they have their other sections. They even got a similar hanging section, but honestly, it's pretty cool to see this regardless. On the sides over here, we can see some of the hanging props. We'll start with those first. We can see a hanging phantom. This was actually at Sam's Club last year. I actually kind of want it, so maybe I'll get it, but yeah, it's pretty cool looking. I think it's kind of expensive though, it's kind of unfortunate. The next to it, we can see a werewolf. This looks just like the Gemmy werewolf. This guy keeps coming back in every shape and form. Honestly, it's just so sad to see him back, but he's now a hanger, so that is interesting. Then in this photo, we can see a Sunstar looking witch, and then we got the SVI hangers. So we got the hanging hugs, of course. Love him, glad he's back. Then we have the prisoner zombie from the stock photos. The next to that prisoner guy, there's like some like red looking thing. I can't really tell what it is, but it's there. But we do see next to the hanging hugs, we have a hanging cracked doll, which we heard from the names, and this looks a lot like the vintage dolls, like the Haunted doll and the 3-foot version. The hair is different, and definitely the clothing itself is a bit different coloration, but honestly it looks kind of like it. I kind of want one because it looks much like that prop, but I like how it looks. Not sure on the audio yet. It might be original, might be reused, not sure, but it's pretty nice overall. And then now we're going to talk about the big props that are also in this picture. We first got the 12-foot mummy. It looks pretty big. A little bit better here than the factory photos. However, that might not be the actual outcome. This is, again, probably a prototype, so it might look different in person. But then we have some of the normal size animatronics. We first have is the Hourglass Reaper. He looks kind of cool here. Still a weird proportions, but cool here. We have a new version of the animated creepy girl from last year. That was also on the list for this year. It turns out it's the same prop as last year, but it looks like it's recolored. And honestly, it looks a lot better than the original. I generally like how this looks. It looks really cool, honestly. Then next to that, we have the 3-foot characters in the background. You can see those, like the creepy female, and I think the male is next to it too. In the back, I think you can see Michael. I'm not really sure why he's in this picture. That's him. I can't really tell. Weird. He's right there. Then we have the green clown in the background here. He looks pretty cool, actually. I honestly kind of like him and the Haunted Mansion Tombstone. Pretty nice looking clown, honestly. I mean, the hair is still kind of weird with the weird, like, darker roots and the shoes, but honestly, not that bad. Then next to the Hourglass Reaper, we do have the new witch. Not a big fan, just because I feel like it's a generic kind of overlook on the item. And even in the background you can see some Christmas stuff, which is kind of interesting. I've also noticed that this is probably in a different area too. I can't really tell. It doesn't look like it's with the Halloween stuff, so probably just a different test out area. And again, there's that fence area, a lot better than the first picture. And then we can see some hanging like heads on this thing, some skulls and pumpkins. So you can see the Jason pathway markers back here, but honestly pretty nice. Then we have a picture of the Big Head Reaper. This guy is actually not new. This guy came out in the UK, I believe, in 2020. I think it's 2020. Yeah, I was never really a big fan of this guy either. Honestly, then too, I don't really like his audio, but he's kind of okay looking, so it's gonna be cool to see him in stores, assuming he's set up. I don't think he was on the list though, but I guess he's coming to stores. Gonna be interesting to see him in stores, especially since he was in the UK a few years ago. Kind of wish they picked a different prop, like the sharp dressed skeleton from this year, or the Pumpkin King, but it's gonna be at least nice seeing this guy in person finally. And the final thing I want to mention is you can kind of see in this picture that the black and white clown is actually not the PartyTime killer circus clown I thought it was going to be. Turns out it's just a Sunstar black and white clown, which I probably should have saw coming just because the price was probably too good to be true. Yeah, kind of sad, but it's there. Not a big fan of Sunstar clowns, so yeah, I'm not going to get this one. And it's $60, so I don't want to pay that much for it. But I guess one of the better looking Sunstar clowns. I just don't like how overused the design is and the audio, and it kind of just looks weird, so yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's affordable at least, so it's there if you want it. And yeah, with that being said, that pretty much wraps up the entire layout of how the Lowe's 2022 Halloween lineup will look like. I'm overall pretty excited to see this stuff in person, because even though I only like a couple animatronics and mostly the tabletops, I haven't really been this excited for Lowe's just because they've been kind of bad the last couple years, so it's at least cool to see they're trying to step up to be a better company. They're still trying to do their Gemmy thing while also expanding with companies like SVI and PartyTime, so it's cool to see them expand and actually try to be better, and maybe someday they'll be on the level of Home Depot or Spirit with the way they're trying to do this, so I look forward to the future. That's pretty much it, guys, for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please subscribe. I'm gonna be posting videos almost every day now, I guess. There's a lot of videos I gotta post now, so make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you guys later, and goodbye.